All right. So for the past uh, two sessions that we missed, I'm expecting that everyone at least has seen those videos. If you haven't, please do so because we're already jumping into 1.2.3, which is about organizational strategy. So the first two videos, at least the first video um, talks about the context of organizations, the definitions, and then the next to that would be about organizational culture. Okay, so now we're moving directly into organizational strategy. Okay, maybe just a review again of for those who haven't seen the videos yet, just on a high level. Okay, an organization is a formal collection of people and other resources established to accomplish a set of goals. Okay, so you might look at for-profit organizations. So their main goal is to maximize shareholder value or stock prices. So you can see your some Filipino company logos, okay, on the screen. SM Prime Holdings, PLDT, BPI, and so on. So all of these are working to make sure that they to maximize the shareholder value of their companies or organizations. Okay, so they're also being organizations, not just them, also are also being described in terms of their structure, their culture, and their ability to change. Okay, ability to evolve to improve their own operations. Right. You can also look at organization structure, okay, the system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of an organization. Okay, so um, depends on the structure of the organization, you can somehow get the sense of how the information flows between levels within the company. So, for example, um, uh, if you are, let's say, tracking or looking into one company that has six VPs or six business centers under the CEO, and then suddenly they on the next year they merge some of them, they remove some of them, and then focus just on three. Then you can see what are the priorities of the organization for that year. Okay, and it's also common that organization structures change, okay, throughout the years, maybe in a year or two, depending really on what's their direction, okay, or the mission or the strategic direction of the organization for that year. Okay, um, you could be seeing this even at your school organizations. Um, some of them would have new roles to fill in the activities for the new direction. Some of them might be retrenching some roles because they don't need it for the next year. Okay, those things are common to happen. Okay, school orgs or even profit organizations. I gave an example of SAP. Okay, so previously there are actually more than these three um, boards. Okay, so the customer success board, the product management and development, and also the data management solution. So there were actually more than these three, but now they merged them into these three main board areas. So somehow for some analysts, they were assuming that any changes from the field or down the ground will now lead only to three decision makers instead of, I think that was six or seven decision makers before. Okay, so they're trying to reduce basically the bureaucracy or the red tape within the organization. Okay, you can see just a sample here in terms of information flow from authority. Most of them are on top management, okay, down the lower management or workforce, but the responsibility or running the operations are focused on mostly on the workforce. Okay, so the workforce implements the decisions, okay, driven down or trickled down by the top management. Okay. Now about the culture, okay, it's a set of major understandings and assumptions shared by a group, such as within an ethnic group or a country. Okay. Of course, we have country-specific cultures, but also for an organization-wide you can treat the country as an organization, and you get organizational culture. Okay, so consists of major understandings, assumptions for business, corporation, or other organization. Okay. Unfortunately, we won't be experiencing much of the UAP culture in Ateneo probably this year because of the pandemic, but hopefully things get normal so everyone can go back to Araneta or to MOA Arena and uh, scream for the players, right? So that's one part of Ateneo culture, and I'm not sure if how the intact class is being conducted now, but part of them would be the cheer rally and other things that really define the Ateneo culture. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about how organizations make strategies. Okay. And to start with, we need to understand how companies are making money. Okay. So first among the framework is the business model, okay, which describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. Okay. What we see here is the business model canvas where analysts or even strategic managers can plot specific activities or and then map them together um, when they're trying to understand their organization. Okay, so even if on our next classes, maybe this for this class we will touch this also. If you want to understand a company, let's say in Amazon, you will actually be looking at the business model. So you've seen the vision and mission, okay, from the organizational culture module, and the mission directly states what a company does in order to achieve their vision. So in essence, that's their value proposition to their customers. So that's where they define the problem and how do they solve the problem, and how do they deliver the solution. Okay, so all of them, most of their missions are stated here. Okay, at the middle. Now the things to the right of the mission or the value proposition are the things that make money. Okay, let me just zoom it in. Okay. So it's the things that make money for the organization. So meaning we need to define who are their market or customer segments. Okay. Let's say a startup company come up with a new application. Who are they really addressing or selling it to? Okay. And what are their specific problems that they are addressing? Okay, so who needs our solution? How many people need our solution right now? Our solution right now, and how many will eventually need it? Okay, so now we have what we offer, the value prop. We have where to offer, the market and customer segments. The channels is how do we deliver the solution? Do we deliver them through the app, through an application? Do we deliver them through physical stores? Do we deliver them via e-commerce platform like Lazada or Shopee? Okay, so those were the different channels that you can look at. Now, how do you exactly engage with these customers? So that's where customer relations come in. Okay, so how do you get more customers? So let's say you are aside from the physical or pop-up shop that you will be putting, you can also um, implement some loyalty programs to make sure that to attract more customers and retain more customers. Okay, so this is how you define your customer relationship. Let's say you are offering um, delivery services. Okay, that's your value proposition. Um, that your channel is via the app. Okay, you're putting up an application for your delivery service, and your customer relation would be more on providing cheaper costs. Okay, or making or real-time customer service. Okay, so you would so that customers will have real-time human customer service, not bots. Okay, for example, um, or let's say you will promote them via advertisements, or you will put up some you will hire some influencers to use your application so that you can build relationship with the rest of the customers. Okay, so that's customer relations. So all of these things talk about how an organization earns money. Okay. Now to the left of the mission is everything that costs them money. Okay. What are the things that they need to deliver or to come up with a solution or the value proposition that they are delivering? Okay. So first of them is the key partners. Okay. So I'm trying to read this as how I would read the business model canvas. I would look at the key partners. Okay. So who would help me as the organization come up with the value proposition? Okay. So usually this would be your suppliers. Uh, this would be your suppliers if you are onto physical goods business. It can also be your software providers. Let's say you're working on an application again, and you will be storing them on Amazon Web Services. Then your key partner would be Amazon Web Services. Um, yeah, basically that's it. So who are your partners in terms of creating that value for that cost for your customers? Okay. Key activities. What exactly are the steps that you need to take? Okay. So for example, if you are a retailer, your main activity is more on um, uh, purchasing from suppliers and also warehousing, how to store your products. So you could imagine Amazon focusing on the warehousing. So they are optimizing all their warehouses with robots. Uh, they employ latest technologies also as part of their key activities. And then key resources would be more on what exactly do they uh, need. So for if you're looking at a kitchen scenario, okay, the key resources would be your pans, your stove, okay, the exact things that you need to deliver or to produce, to market your solution. Okay, so um, your infrastructures would be placed on at key resources. Um, ano pa ba? Let's say programming tools, your computers can be placed under key resources. Okay, basically the physical things that you need. Okay, who um, who are you working with to deliver or to produce that value, and what are the steps that you need to take to deliver that value. Okay, so these are the things that these are the things that would cost the company. Okay, now at the bottom would be more of a summary of their financials. Okay. So these things at the top usually talk about the people and activities and resources. Okay. The people, the activity, and the resources. So almost the same thing. But we have two dimensions, the customer side and the supplier side or the key partner side. Down at the bottom would be the specific financial metrics we're looking at. Okay. How do we price the value? Okay. Are we pricing it on a subscription model? Okay. Like Netflix or Spotify where you pay monthly subscription dues. Do we also put up advertisements to earn more revenue for the company? Are we partnering with, do we have revenue from key partners, okay, and so on. So all of these things um, uh, define how you actually get paid from the solution that you provide. Okay, while here you get the cost structure. So what are the things that you pay? Let's say you're paying for loyalty fees, you're paying for infrastructure subscription, you're paying for salaries. Of course, you also need people. You need also to pay your people. Those things are the things that you actually pay for, and you can define them here. So easily, when one looks at these two boxes, one can see, or one with the knowledge of, let's say, subscription models, one can identify whether your model is sustainable or not. So you might be spending too much, but your revenue income is too low. Okay, then the business model isn't really sustainable, something like that. Or maybe you're earning too much, you're delivering too little, okay? But ano ba? You're spending too low, or your spending is too low, okay? But then you're trying to get you have a big revenue slice, okay? So you are getting much of the margin. So one may say that it's good, you're getting too much profit, okay? But then you need to move these profit to deliver more services and products, okay? So so one can read these two on in that way, okay? So again, the focus of the business model, okay, whether customers will value what the company is providing, which is the value proposition, okay, and whether the company can make any money doing that, okay, so the profit or the bottom line, okay. This is the more of just a close-up version of the business model, okay. So you can easily Google this if you need to look it up, okay, on your own time. You will also see some example business model canvas. So the good old Uber, okay. So this is their business model canvas. So they have their value proposition is to provide a platform to connect riders with drivers, to make sure that riders have an easiest way around. They can get a ride anytime, anywhere, at a low cost luxury. They have various level of service, and for drivers, they can earn money whenever they want. Okay, they deliver them to both riders and drivers. Okay, at the Uber app. And their customer segments, of course, the riders and the drivers. Okay, and to maintain the relationship, they have the rating system. The riders can send a rating, okay, to make sure that that their insights or voices are heard. Okay, so are the drivers? I mean, I think it's the same as the Grab right now. So, what is the driver punctual? Is the driver hygienic, and so on? So those are parts of the rating system. Now, to deliver this value proposition, they partnered with payment processors, they partnered with map technology companies, they partnered with financial investors. Okay, and the activities would be platform development and maintenance. Okay, maintaining the Uber app itself, marketing and ads. They also have the hiring process for the drivers, and also the main operations or the back end operations. And the key resources would be the tech platform, the employees. They also need the employees. They're also leveraging on their driver network and also their brand as as a low cost luxury brand. Okay, so these are the partners, activities, and resources to deliver these value proposition. How are they earning? So they're earning a price per distance, kilometer or mile. But they are also earning from surge pricing. So if the demand is high on one end, and there's low supply of drivers, I believe, or maybe just imagine Grab when the traffic is when there's a peak of traffic, right? And then it adds a little bit of surge pricing onto the original price. So they also earn from that surge pricing. Okay. Cost structures. What exactly are they paying? They are paying for payroll, for driver payouts, legal fees. They are also paying for marketing and ads, and also tech platform costs. Okay. So here you see the entire picture of the operations of the business. Okay. Any questions on the business model canvas? Okay, none so far. Okay, we'll probably just go into the definitions of strategy. Okay, but we'll stop there and continue the lecture next meeting. Okay, so just to start the next lecture, basically. All right, so now let's proceed with strategy. Okay, so it's a method or plan that we craft to bring about a desired future. So let's say this is our direction for this year. How exactly do we want to implement this? So that's the strategy. Okay, you're probably hearing on some movies, okay, what's our strategy? What's our game plan? Okay, so we're basically talking about the same things. It's the organization's plans to do whatever it is in the business to do, how it will compete successfully, and how it will attract and satisfy its customers in order to achieve its goals. Okay. Now, it can have any plan, any strategy. Okay, but a competitive strategy is there's a focus on um, positioning yourself on the right place to either get more customers or to box out your competitors. Okay, so it's a positioning of a single offering in relation to a unique set of potential customers and competitors to win the preference of the target market over competing substitutes. So you could think of um, Apple and Samsung. Okay, so what exactly makes one better than the other? So that's actually their competitive strategy. Okay, so now how do customers choose? Okay, so maybe let's end on this slide. So let's have a little bit of brainstorming here. Let's say again that hindi pala again. Let's say we are all going out for lunch, okay, as a class. And then I ask you to look for a ramen place. Okay, how would you? Okay, before I ask, how would you pick that? What are your favorite ramen places? Anyone? You can use the mic or the chat. Okay, so we're going out and then I ask you, oh, ano yung favorite nyong ramen stores? Okay, Ipodo, we have Ramen Nagi, Ramen Kuroda, Ichiran. Okay, sige. If I ask the Ramen Nagi people, why would you choose Ramen Nagi over the other ramen brands? Okay, maybe someone could open the microphones so it would be easier. Okay. So yes, just since ayan, from Inma, okay, the one in UP Town, I forgot the name, something yes, the one in the middle of uh the two buildings. I also forgot what the name exactly is. Santoka, yes, I remember that one. Sige, Ramen Nagi people, could you explain why you prefer Ramen Nagi over the others?
Maybe because it was their first time to eat ramen and ramen nagi. Yeah, that's ever since they tasted the ramen and ramen nagi.
Okay.
Parang yun na yung bet nila.
Okay, that's possible. So um because they have low sample or just one sample among all ramen brands, they consider it to be the best ramen. Okay, so that's possible. Um, what else? Maybe for the other brands as well, you can discuss why you're choosing that brand. For the Ipodo people, Ramen Kuroda, uh, Ichiran. Okay.
Sir, it could
Sige.
first.
Okay, let's go with David. Sige. David, and then sino yung kasabayan mo?
Me, sir.
Okay, I'll go first.
Daryl. Sige. David, Daryl, and then I'll mention the one in the chat.
Okay. I chose Katsudon because they have like a boxed meal just for 300 pesos, which is sulit. You get ramen plus other kinds of snacks too.
So at at the cost, which is, you think is sulit enough, you get a bunch of things, not just ramen but also side dishes. that right? Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Got it. Darrell.
For me, sir, I think I just like the taste more. Basically, it's just I think the broth is better compared to other ramen. Although I
Which
think there are
store did you choose?
ramenagi. Yeah,
Ramenagi. Okay, so
yeah.
you prefer it because of their taste, basically.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay,
it might just be marketing and stuff. And it's also closer to my house, so I usually eat there more if
accessibility.
I had a choice. Yep.
Okay,
And yeah.
got it. All right, sige, thank you. We also have responses from chat. The setup of the resto. Danica, what do you mean by setup? Like the ambience? Ano ba?
Yes po.
Okay, so the setup itself. So you feel, I don't know, you feel good when you come into the store. Maybe it looks like a real ramen shop from Japan, no? You get that experience. Okay? And also the promos, okay? 2 ramen for 299. Is this the ramen Kuroda, I think? Ito ba yun? Or yes, ramen Kuroda. This is the one in QC, right?
Yes, sir, in SM North.
SM North, okay. Ramen Nagi has many branches. Again, accessibility. Okay, so you have different ways to gauge, or you have basically different criteria on choosing what brands we're going to. Okay, so now let's try to simplify that. Okay, so of course, you choose because of the value. You've mentioned things. The broth is tastier on this store. This store is closer to my house. So those are the things that basically define the value of a product, or in this case, a ramen. Okay, you can think of it from a price perspective. I would say the accessibility is also a price issue because of transportation costs. The bundling, the 2 ramen for 299, the box ramen with side dishes and everything. That's also, I think, a price perspective. Okay, you value them because you get so much out of a specific amount. Okay, but on the other end, some people rely on the quality, or let's say, as mentioned earlier, the taste of ramen, of broth. So it's okay to pay any price, um, as long as the quality is good. You would say, okay na yan, sulit na yan, masarap naman. Something like that. Okay? Or you could go both ways. You get really good quality of products at a cheaper price, or at a really reasonable price, then you see the value from that. Okay? Now from quality, again, you can look at the product itself. Okay, the taste of the broth, the ramen itself, or on the other hand, customer service, which Danica mentioned. So she prefers ramen Kuroda because of the setup of the store, the ambience of the store. How it's I'm not sure how the ramen Kuroda in SM North looks like, okay, but probably it looks like an authentic ramen shop. Okay. So if you have heard that say of Yushuken, or um what's there, Mendocoro, okay, so they have also the format of an actual ramen shop. Okay, and some of them that's actually one of my preference. Okay, so the taste is good, the ambience is good, the price, it's on the premium or expensive side, but that's okay for me. Okay, so that's how I see value for those shops. Okay, but in essence, these are the things that you would look at. So the quality, the price, and when we go to quality, we look at the product itself, or the customer service. Okay, so for the last 5 minutes, let me just discuss this graph here on the lower right. Okay, so we have two dimensions. Okay, we have the customer perceived quality, and on the other end, we have the customer perceived price. Okay, so the fair value line is where the quality and the price meets. Okay, so that means that okay yung price for the quality. Okay, whether it's at commodity value, at low quality, low price, okay, okay lang kasi mura naman kung even though it has low quality, or it's okay to pay more because the quality is high as well. So there's the fair value line here at the middle. Okay, below that, okay, below the line is where there's better customer value, meaning the customer perceives the quality of your services or products high, okay, at a reasonable cost. Okay, so the price is low from their perspective. So it's a good customer value because they can get so much more out of the amount that they're paying. Okay, but the things above the fair value line is where you could probably lose some market because they can perceive your products and services as low quality products, okay? And they even perceive it as very expensive. So who would actually want a low quality expensive product, right? So nobody wants that. So you as a company would steer away from that, okay, from that area. Now, you would prefer to either be here providing better customer value, or you would want to look at your unique value, okay, where your competitive strategy is, okay, to make sure that you deliver the right solution and at the same time deliver them at a reasonable price uh, based on that quality. So in this sense, it's okay for me to pay for a BMW or yeah, it's okay for me to pay for a BMW because of everything that BMW is. It's okay for me to get an Apple, uh, an iPhone compared to, let's say, a cheaper phone because of everything that Apple or an iPhone is. Okay, from customer service to the products itself, all of them are good. Okay, so you could think of that perspective. This other um, this other area here, the commodity value, this is where probably those groceries that everyone knows that the customers would buy it as often as possible. So they would put it at a low price or at the lower end of this graph. Okay, so you could think of this chart to see, okay, maybe just to try things out, see if your preferred brands would fall on any of these uh, boxes. Okay, so do you actually like Apple because of their their customer service or the quality of their phones, or not really? You just need a phone. Okay, then you just need a phone, and you're getting the iPhone 13 that just released. That was just announced yesterday. Mga ganun. Um, or let's say you actually need this product. You actually have a need for this product. So anything that they provide as a feature that goes with it, okay sa akin. Okay, so then there's a um, competitive strategy or competitive win in that area. Okay, so I'll leave this lecture here, okay, because the next one we'll discuss more on the types of corporate strategy, and we'll go into these items on our next meeting. Right, so just think of your preferred brands maybe, and see why exactly do you prefer them as an exercise to see what these brands or these companies competitive strategy is. Okay, are there any questions? None. Okay, so if there are no questions, any concerns, admin stuff?